you'd get it right into it anyway. So
Okay.
so how did you get started in the industry?
Well, I always wanted to be in front of the camera. So my first experience, taking it all the way back, I was 9 years old and I was on a hip hop dance team. And they came in scouting for Gap Kids. And I was like, oh, this is my moment. I was so excited. And so they ended up taking photos of everyone in the in the group, and they took photos of me, and I made it to the auditions, and I was like so excited. It was like a family audition. We went in the room, and I was so nervous, but I was like, I want to be on camera so bad. I was 9 years old. And then we left, and I went home and I cried because I had braces, and I was like, they're never gonna pick me because I have braces. I'm not cute enough. Like Gap is gonna pass on me. I ended up booking the job. And I booked a few Gap campaigns, smiling, by the way, like with the braces I thought were gonna like hold me back from the job. So that's how I fell in love with like just being in front of the camera and photos. And, you know, my mom doesn't know how to like get me an agent and all that stuff. So went to college, UC Davis. Then I moved to LA after that. I was like, you know what, I'm going for it. Like,
so did you have a gap between being 9 and then going to college?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything else besides Gap?
No, I didn't do anything else. I didn't like know how. I don't have any family that's connected to the industry. So
did you do it in school, like theater, or?
We didn't have theater.
Really?
No.
And this is San Fran, by the way, for everybody.
Yes. Right? Yeah. In San Fran. I did go to a Catholic school though. And I don't know, Catholic schools have too much like theater and like those types of arts, creative classes.
So what inspired you to get into it in the first place? Like as a 9-year-old, what did you see that was like, I gotta be in front of the camera?
I felt, so now I understand, because I asked myself that same question, and I feel like it's because I feel so free in front of the camera, because I can basically say like, no one can judge me. I can just say like, I'm acting. You know what I mean? It's not really me, but it is me.
Yeah.
But there's that freedom of just being like free on camera. And I used to be like so picked on when I was young. So like, oh, I'm just on camera. I'm acting, I'm modeling. You know, you can't really, like, I felt like people really couldn't make fun of me anymore because I was doing a job. So that's why I fell in love with it. So I was like, all right, I'm moving to LA as soon as I graduated. Like literally I graduated, I grabbed my diploma, and my car was packed the next day, and I moved here to LA.
No plan, no job, just going?
No, nothing. Literally nothing.
And what was the major in college?
International relations.
Okay.
With emphasis in global health and environment. I've always been really into like health and wealth. And
this is 2011 when you came down?
Yep. Graduated, moved here. And then I was like, well, I just got to figure out how to model. And I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, this is like death for me. Because a lot of the modeling in LA, at least, it's e-commerce work where basically you're just changing into outfits, posing, and it's like hard work, like 8-hour days, maybe 9. And I was like, I'm not happy. Like, this sucks. But I ended up booking some commercials, and I was like, oh, this is like way more me.
And how did you do this? Did you get an agent, or you just did it yourself?
So I ended up, so my boyfriend at the time's uncle knew a photographer. This is how crazy it is. And the photographer took headshots of me and was like, I'm going to send them to my friend who works at an agency. And then the agency ended up taking me in for an interview, and then they signed me to the board, and they signed me to the acting commercial board and the modeling board. And it just happened that like, I just started booking more commercials. And so that just became my specialty. And I did really, really well. Had so much fun, because commercials are like, you do it 2 days, 2-day shoot, you're on to the next one.
And now were these national shoots? What were these?
Yeah, so these ended up being like national commercials. My favorite ones are like Oil of Olay Skincare, Lexus, McDonald's, Taco Bell, which was a Super Bowl commercial, Kumho Tires, Old Navy. I worked with Old Navy a whole bunch. You guys remember the Old Navy commercials back in the day?
Yeah. These are like the top of the top commercials.
Yep, and they were like dancing commercials. I did a Hot Pockets commercial with Snoop Dogg and Kate Upton. I did a Joe Montana commercial for Skechers, which was cool because I'm from San Francisco, and he's a Niner, a legendary Niner. So that was amazing. And then I started getting like one-liners, which is just literally one line for a TV show. And my first one was 90210. And I was like,
90210, the first go round? No.
The remake. The remake. So I did that, and I was like, oh, this is really
What was the first line? We got to hear it. Can you do it again?
Oh my
Can you
God,
reenact
what
it for
was
us? It had to be super dramatic if it's on that show.
I think it was literally me saying like, "Is that him?" And then he comes out of the elevator.
No.
And that was it.
Oh shit.
That was like my
who were you
debut.
Okay.
I think my name was Girl.
And were you,
Literally,
like,
that
one
was
of
my
the-
first job, Girl, on
Were you one of the
90210.
cast members' friends or something?
Yeah, I think I was like one of the friends of like the main girlfriend, and I caught her boyfriend coming out of the elevator with some guy.
It was him though.
Yeah, it was him. Yeah.
Okay. How'd you take it when you told him?
I mean, it was just dramatic ending right there.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Okay.
That was my job.
Okay. But that's dope. So did you ever have like a real like LA struggle, or were you, it seems like, we've talked about your work ethic previously before we started rolling camera, but like, did you ever have a period where you're like, shit, I don't know if I'm going to make it?
COVID.
Okay. So
even though I had so much experience in the game, like I'm very grateful. Like I didn't have a side job. Once I started booking commercials, like that was my full-time job. And that's how I survived. And then I booked larger roles like All American season 1.
What year was that?
That was before the pandemic, so 2019.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that was the first season. And then I got to work with Tyler Perry on his TV show called The Oval for 2 seasons after that. But I think when the pandemic hit, that's when I was just like, oh shit. Like I just realized if this is my only source of income, right? And they say all the time that successful, millionaires have multiple sources of income. So if one goes off, you can still survive. Yeah. And that's when I realized I'm not doing it right, because I'm now at the mercy of whenever the government decides that production can go back into play.
Yeah.
So I was honestly like really devastated. I'm scared out of my mind, because I'm like, how am I going to survive? Like I don't have any other means of income. And then I thankfully got into the influencing game. And my love for dancing was revamped. I did the whole TikTok thing.
Nice.
And I did it with one of my best friends, Liberty. And we had a lot of fun, and we got to like do gigs together and travel the world. And it supported me through a scary time.
I want to ask you about the influencer thing, right? So when we started the brand, right?
Yep.
One of our main strategies was influencers, right? And it was so all over the place for us, where say we came to you, right? Like, Michelle, we want you to do a post on First Rounds on Me, right?
Yeah.
You give us your rate card, and we're like, okay, $3,000 for the post, let's do it. And then it took us a while to realize tying that influencer to our audience had to be so strategic, and that an influencer to a random brand, there was no alignment, and we probably got 0 traction, and it took us probably 6 weeks to figure that out. So like, what's your experience with the influencers, and how would someone utilize an influencer kind of the best way they can?
Yeah, I think, excuse me. Excuse me. I think with influencing, it's really important to find people that are naturally in that field already. Like if you have a lot of, I guess for First Rounds on Me, if you have people that talk about dating, go on dates, or live in LA, or move to a new city and want to meet new friends, when it's organic in that way, it does a lot better than just, hey, this girl has 1 million followers and I know all these cool people follow her, so I'm going to tell her about First Rounds on Me. But then everyone's like, there's no way she's on the app.
Exactly.
Like she's already like probably has a DM full of like athletes that want to date her anyway.
Exactly.
So why is she going to join the app? It needs to be like really realistic.
Yeah, and in hindsight, it looks obvious, but when you're first doing it, it's not obvious. And especially, he kind of got really good at seeing who's fake, right? Like, oh, you have 150,000 followers. Me, I'd be like, oh, like you're big time. You're gonna get this out to everybody. Yeah. And he would be like, no, that's heavily botted, or this way or that way.
Yep.
So it's very interesting, that whole industry.
Yeah, and I think they have a good network too. Like I know for myself, like Liberty and I are like, a lot of people will recognize us together because they just see our content together. And so like our group of friends, they'll be like, oh, like Michelle knows Liberty, and Liberty knows this girl and that girl and Megan and Dakota. And like they all kind of hang out. So you kind of, and we all support each other. We all support each other's brands. Like I work for Barcode. Of course my girls love it, post about it, talk about it. because one, I'm associated to the brand, and two, they love it. So when you find that like organic circle that's like willing to give you, I always say like give it a bone. Because like for me, when I was working with other brands before Barcode, if I like you, I'm gonna talk about you organically.
Yeah.
And if I see that it's like getting views and tractions and links and clicks, then I'm gonna come up to you and be like, hey, look, like I think we should work together. I really think I can partner with you. You know, this is what I'm getting every time I post you on my stories. People are asking me about it. So you also have to find people that take the influencing things seriously.
That is another huge aspect of it, right? We had people, we would be like, hey, they give us the rate card. All right, here you go. We have all the deliverables, right?
Yep.
They post it, and I'm like, she just goes, oh, download first runs on me. And I would be furious. I would email their agent, email them. I'm like, what is this? What did I pay for?
Yeah.
Then you get other people who put hours and hours into making this really curated reel, send it back. And I'm like, that was really impressive.
And it's usually people with the less followers, right?
100%.
Yeah. Because it's really like how they make a living.
Yeah.
And they want to be authentic to their followers because they know that their followers trust them. Like I only have 130K. That's not a lot, but I'm verified.
Other people say that in LA. I only have 130K.
No, but it's really not a lot because I'm like, oh, so many people have like millions, which is totally fine. Like I just want mine to be organic and to be a real community. So to me, that's more important than the number. Because like you said, it could just be a bunch of bots and or people.
But it does look a lot cooler when you can tell that someone has a true following of 130,000 people.
Totally.
Versus you have 1 million followers and
they don't really connect.
We worked with one guy, and I'm very naive, I'm very stupid to this. So he came to us, he had 2 million followers, and he had a lot of stuff on his page, but he was trying to get equity in the company. And stupidly, I was like, oh, maybe not equity, but maybe we should work with him long term.
Yeah.
And he did his due diligence, and this guy was so fake, had
my God.
nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm on the other side of it with Barcode, where I get to, you know, figure out rates and like see who's really getting us traction and sales and conversion
And how do you do that?
So we have like a platform. So usually it's like something called Grin.
Okay.
That's like the most commonly one I feel like that's used, where you can see like, okay, Michelle mentioned you and this is how many clicks it got and this is how many people went to your website and this is how long they were on your website and they checked out and actually bought, you know, a case of Barcode. So when you have platforms like that, that's easy to track.
Okay.
And it just saves you time so you don't have to like be asking people for analytics. It's just like, I already know what they are.
And they can't lie to you.
And they can't lie to you.
Well, I just want to say real quick for people that don't know what Barcode is. Do you want to tell them real quick?
Yeah. So Barcode's a hydration beverage. It's very clean, functional fitness water. So it's something that you can use inside or outside of the gym. Because even if you're not in the gym, you still want your mind right, your mental, physical, and you want to feel good. So it's 12 vitamins and minerals with adaptogens, including vitamin D, magnesium, and it's only 30 calories in a bottle with 2 grams of monk fruit sugar. So it's good for inside and out of the gym, which makes us different from everyone else. That's really for me our selling point.
What's in like Gatorade or something? I'm like, how I only associate Gatorade because that's what I know.
Yeah. No, that's what a lot of people know. And I grew up on Gatorade, and there was no other option.
And it's funny because at the launch party, I think I put Barcode as the wrong. And I put it as an energy drink.
Yes.
And you guys like, it's not an energy
drink. It's not an energy
drink.
drink. No, there's no caffeine in Barcode, which is also really cool. As I don't drink caffeine myself. But so a bottle of Gatorade has 24 grams of sugar, which is, first of all, processed sugar. And then at that, you don't want to be having that in your body. I know some intense athletes, like professional athletes, will make the claim that they need it because they're pushing their body to such an extreme level. But most of us are not working out 4 to 5 hours a day. Most of us are getting an hour in with our busy schedules, and then we're sitting in front of a desk. So you still want to be able to focus and have a clear mind. So even though you're not physically fit, we call it being like just mentally fit and being able to focus and do your job well, whatever that is. And also we're like, for me, I'm like, everyone's talented. Everyone's like a star athlete.
Yeah.
Right. Like even if you're a doctor, a waitress, makeup artist, like you still want to be the best at what you do. And it shouldn't just be like these athletes that have like all the cleanest ingredients available to them.
Yeah. And for reference, the 2 founders, one of them's heavily involved in training and fitness, right?
Yes.
And the other one is a professional athlete.
Yes.
So
yeah, Kyle
they have a lot of
Kuzma is a
credibility.
co-founder. Yeah. Yeah. And actually our founder was giving it to Kyle Kuzma while he was training him before they won the championship with the Lakers.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah, I see it
works.
circulating around the NBA. You see all the athletes have it.
we
post-game.
have them, we have the Patriots, we have like the Pistons, we have like a really cool
Nice.
teams that are drinking Barcode behind the scenes. It's not Gatorade, people. Let's just be
And
clear.
It's not an energy drink.
It's no, but I'm saying like they don't actually drink Gatorade. Like that's literally all marketing. It's just tubs of something else.
Wow. Okay.
But people think it's Gatorade.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Crazy.
So, do you want to twist it up a little bit? Getting to LA, being from San Fran,
Yep.
you've been here 10 years. What was your experience in the dating pool in LA?
I've always been like very picky because I feel like my time is so valuable. And if I don't think this is going to go anywhere long term, then I don't see the point in us hanging out.
And
Fair.
how are you picky, and how do you realize if it's long term or not?
So, I mean, long term doesn't mean like, oh, every guy I date and, I'm thinking we're going to get married and like, this is it for me. But I mean, long term as in like, hey, I see us like building some sort of future, whether it's a long term friendship or we support each other and in our goals, or I see us possibly maybe, dating long term. And I mean, I've always wanted to be a mom. So like, that's how I'm thinking like, okay, this is someone that I feel like could be a great dad. This is someone that is successful minded, is motivated, is disciplined. Those are traits I look for.
It's probably more like you know what you don't want sooner, right? Like you don't always know if meaning like when you can tell right away, it's like I know that I don't want that guy, more so than like someone else that you like. Oh, I'm interested in this guy. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like also chemistry. Like I want to like come home to you every night. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I want to be like, ooh, I can't wait to get home and like see my man.
Now, can you hint those signs on a first date? Like, can you tell? You could tell.
100. Every guy I've ever dated, I like knew as soon as they walked into the room.
How?
They just had that thing.
What's the thing? Like, was it a personality?
That swaggy thing.
Okay.
And I don't even know like there's a name for it. But I think we all have our different ones that you look for.
It's an X factor. It's an aura.
Yeah,
it's a presence,
like they
it's an
literally
energy.
like I dated this soccer player and I saw him at this party and I was like, out of all the guys in this room, like that's who I think is like the hottest guy.
And how much of that is actual physical appearance versus the energy they give off?
Oh, I think it's a high mixture. Because I've seen cute guys and I'm like, I would never date you because they're just like in my mind so corny.
Yeah.
But then there's guys that I'm like, oh, like he's not, I wouldn't think my type physically, but he's so confident and just so like I kind of like a guy that's nonchalant, that like knows they're hot but doesn't need to show me they're hot.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that like that duality, I'm just like, yes, that is attractive to me.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah, I think it's a mixture. Like you have to have both. Because I've been on dates with hot guys and I'm like, this conversation is so stupid. I cannot sit here for one. Like there's no way we're going to be.
So how many serious relationships have you had since you moved here? Or was it more career focused and dating a little bit? Or how did that work?
No, serious. I would say like 4.
Okay.
4 in 10 years. That's not a lot.
What was the average span of them?
Oh, long time.
Yeah.
First boyfriend I was with for almost 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was someone that I wanted to be with, obviously, because I would not be with someone that long. And then it wasn't. And then I dated someone after that. Then they all kind of became really like 2 years. I think the other one was like I was back and forth with one guy for 4 years before my current relationship.
Now, do you feel, we get this a lot when we have kind of powerful women on, right? Who have a presence, that men are intimidated and can't keep up with you and get insecure at some point?
My first boyfriend he was really content with like where we were, which is why we broke up, because he was like, this is it. Like, this is the house we're going to live in. This is the job I'm going to have. And by the way, he still lives in the same house and has the same job 6 years later.
He knew what he wanted.
Yeah, like he just knew what he wanted. And that's great. But I'm like, I can't settle for this. Like, there's more for me. So I think he like didn't like the pressure that
Okay.
he felt like I was giving him.
Mm.
And then so we went our separate ways. But every other person after that, they're just like, I think that they're powerful too. And so when someone's really successful, they're like set in their ways. And because they're so successful, they don't feel like they need to grow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like my last guy before the relationship I'm in now, like very successful. But because he's so successful, he's like, I don't need to do that for you. Like, I don't need to change. Like, I'm this big, respectable guy and for everyone else's eyes. And if you don't like it, then, well, this is all I have to do.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So I'm engaged, right? So I'm going through.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I'm similar to you, serious relationship, and you learn a lot, right?
Yeah.
And when a guy says he's successful, maybe monetarily, right? But to the point of this guy, you have so much room to grow emotionally, right? Mm-hmm. And he wasn't clearly there with you because he didn't want to do these things for you. And maybe I'm successful building a company, but as far as being a partner, I had to level up so much. I had to learn emotional intelligence. I had to learn communication, and that's so important in success of life. It's not just your job.
Yeah. How's that going? How did you like?
It's amazing because at first you're like, oh, I'm me, right? And if you don't like me,
Yeah.
whatever. And then you're like, well, I'm not you have like a realization, I'm not the best, like I'm not perfect. And this person's leveling me up, right? Because I expect certain things from them, right? So if they want me to be more emotionally intelligent, communicate more, I think that's amazing. And then I had that realization and now it's like,
But like, why her?
what do you mean?
Like, why was she the girl to get you to realize that?
Same thing, right? So when I met her, it was this aura, this connection.
Yeah.
It's funny, when we first met, we met the way my app works actually, right? So we got dinner right away off of Hinge.
So it works, guys.
It works. And the waiter had to come over like 4 times and be like, are you guys going to order food? And we were like, sorry, because we just kept talking, right?
Yeah.
And you could tell, like maybe we didn't know it was going to last forever.
Right.
We were like, we could talk about anything and we had this deep, serious connection. Right. And that was such a good baseline. And then you get into like having sex with somebody and you get into like.
Sex is so much better when you're like connected.
I will tell you
spiritually.
straight up. I don't think I've ever had connected sex like this till I met her.
Yeah.
And it's so much different than anything I've ever experienced in my life.
Completely.
Yeah. Like kissing. I always thought, the porno side of sex. But when I kissed her, just kissing her was like, wow, this feeling is
like
insane.
so euphoric.
Yeah.
I agree. Like that's why like I don't even like, well, prior to this, my relationship, I never had casual sex because I'm like, first of all, it's gross. I don't know who you're touching. Like I'm a big germaphobe, but also I'm like, I'm not going to enjoy it because I don't have a connection with you. So it's really, literally pointless.
So how long would you normally wait? Even if you felt a good connection with the guy, would you have a rule of like a certain amount of dates?
No.
How do you define casual? Just like not dating? If you're not dating someone?
It's like, for me, casual is like, we know that this is literally just for us to be satisfied. And I'm not expecting anything from you. You're not expecting anything from me. But to me, I'm like, I'm worth so much more than that. There's no way. Like, we're going to have casual sex. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Have you ever?
To that definition, yeah. I was young, and I feel like I was really allowing like peer pressure around me to like have sex and like do things. And I'm like, looking back on it, it like wasn't me at all.
Yeah.
So I think I've been, people think I'm a prude or whatnot, but that's fine.
No, you have a certain
that's
value
okay.
in yourself.
Yeah, right. I just wasn't surrounding myself with the right people. But like I thought, like, oh, like you're supposed to do this, or like this is what society's doing. Like you should do it too. But I could have. I could have waited longer than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So did you get like a ton of DMs from thirsty guys over the years on Instagram or any apps?
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys mean by thirsty? Just like, hey, what's up?
Like I'm sure when you're like an influencer or a model, and you have a big following, that there's a big portion of those people that are just saying stuff to you to like try and sleep with you when they have no chance, and it's like,
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Thirsty
I mean,
also like feet request feet pics and stuff like that.
Oh my God, yes. People ask me for feet pics all the time.
Okay.
But,
Specifically feet pics?
Yeah.
And how much do you charge for that?
I mean, I feel like I haven't charged enough. Like I'm like,
You could jack that up a little bit.
I know
The
people
price,
make so much money off feet pics.
Are you guys being serious?
Yeah. No, people actually pay for them, and people are like willing to pay for them. I just feel weird.
I think he meant, are you actually selling them?
No,
Oh, me? No,
Are you
no, I
serious
haven't
about
done it.
The feet pic thing.
Oh yeah.
Is this new or
Huge
no?
market.
No,
yeah.
there's like a website.
For feet pics?
Yeah.
I would let Hannah do feet pics.
Tell her. Yeah.
It's just her feet. Like, why
Yeah,
not?
it's like can't even you would be able to tell which ones are hers, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like just in general, did you get hit up by a lot of
Yeah, I
guys over the
mean-
years? Like I always wonder how it is to be a woman, an attractive woman that has a big social media following and just the influx of messages from guys.
Yeah, I mean, like it just. I mean, I guess it comes with just having a social media presence. So it's not. I mean, I'm not like wowed or not by
Do you look
anything in
through them?
it. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
For sure.
I'm sure it's.
I mean,
hell of an
I'm just going to
amusement.
be honest with you. If you have a check mark, it's at least going to get read, even if it's not responded to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to see, like, it makes you feel good. Like, oh, okay, like he's DMing me. Okay.
Yeah, well, which
He
is
liked my
a lot of
photo.
times, which is why we say like on dating apps, a lot of people that have no intention of actually going on dates, they just get the satisfaction from like connecting with someone or getting liked by someone and messaging back and forth. And then at the end of the day, they don't actually want to go on dates. Just want the validation and the dopamine. And
Feels good.
it does, yeah.
You want to feel like, oh, okay, like I still got it.
I think, yeah, with this though, with the apps though, it's definitely, I mean, you have somebody, right? And
Yes.
so like, otherwise it could just be an empty, you know.
Well, I think if you're on an app, you're like intentional. You're like, okay, like I'm really gonna.
I
At
don't
least,
know. I don't know. We find a lot of I find a lot of people that have no intention of going on dates unless it's like that
Really?
one
Have you ever
person.
been on an app?
On your specific
No,
app,
on any dating app.
I was on Raya.
Okay. And for how long was your experience?
Oh, like 3 months because I was like, this is so awkward. Because we would go on dates, and then I would forget it was like a date. Like I'm just thinking like, hey, we're gonna meet, you know, like have lunch.
Wait, why
And
did you think that was not
I
a
don't
date?
know. I guess like that was like so naive of me. But I was like, you know, they'd be like, you know, on our second date, and I was just like, oh my god, do you think this is the date? Because there's no way we would.
Did
I
you
would
have it set
kiss
to the
you.
just friends, looking for friends category?
I should have.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was on there when I was
Okay.
an option when I was on there.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a
But-
lot of Raya people. A lot of people say they were on Raya.
Yeah, my boyfriend now was on Riot too. I thought it was funny, but I never matched.
But I
with
feel
him.
like I've never been on Raya, but I feel like you see the same people because the pool's so small. And
Yeah.
You're all like in
Right.
LA. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like-
oh, I know you, I know you,
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah. I mean, there were some cool people on there, but they just DM'd me on Instagram and we connected that way.
Okay.
So we didn't really need the app. But
Well, at least you know someone's looking if they're on Raya.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the first. That's like a little filter.
and the screenshotting thing is
What's the
you can't
screenshot?
screenshot.
Oh, you can't
can't
screenshot on
screenshot.
Raya. Oh,
so
okay.
that's what makes it really safe, I guess, for people
Yeah.
here in LA.
What happens if you screenshot?
They like mark you, they give you like 2 more chances or something, and then if you keep doing it, they kick you off.
Yeah. But and even if you do it, like you can't get nothing happens, right? Because like I know,
think so.
because I always try to like screen grab like from like I don't know if Netflix has it, but HBO you can't record from the screen.
Oh yeah.
So like if I try to record a clip or something, you can't
You
do
literally
it.
you get
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's
you
just
think you're
black.
recording and it like turns out to come out.
Yeah. So I'm not sure
black.
if Raya works the same way if you try to screenshot, but
Yeah, it probably does.
So you're 6 months pregnant.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about how that is with the partner, right?
Yep.
What are like the day-to-day struggles, and then how have you guys kind of grown together to be like, shit, we're in this forever, and
I know.
you know it's going to be a long-term partnership here.
I've been like such a believer in never mixing business with personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy that that's what my life is now because I've been so against it. But my boyfriend now, we literally started off as friends. But we always had like really great chemistry. So everyone thought we were dating for like
Okay.
the longest time. And we're like, no, like we're
I
really.
sensed it
Did you?
at the launch party. Yeah.
Well, I mean, by that time I was pregnant, by the way.
Hannah asked me that today because I told her, and she said, "Oh, she must have just found
Yeah.
out around then."
I literally found out like probably that weekend.
No way.
we actually
Yeah.
threw that for you.
Yeah, that was my coming out party.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah.
It's a great house, by the way.
Thanks. My second house, my summer house. Yeah.
It's great. So it was never like brought up because he's also really focused on the business. I mean, that is literally his number one. He wakes up thinking about it. He goes like literally all day, every day.
So you being on the other side of that, right? Because sometimes I try and be as empathetic as I can being in Hannah's shoes, right?
Yeah.
What he goes through, which I'm sure I go through, is like you said, all day, every day. It's only the app, only Barcode. And then you guys are looking at us like, hey, like I'm over here. Like,
yeah.
Hello. And it's like, oh shit, I have to be a little more present. How do you deal with stuff like that?
I mean, at first, I literally put my needs aside. Like I would just be like, okay, because I could see how hard he's working.
Yeah.
So I'm always just like, okay, Michelle, you need to be supportive. Like, just support him. This is his dream and it's really gutting places or we're making things happen. So I just kept like putting myself on the back burner. And that's my fault. I take responsibility for that. But then it really started affecting like my mental health because I'm like, I feel like I'm not even living my life because I'm doing everything to support you and Barcode. Mm-hmm. And I need an outlet, whether that means like I take an hour of dance class once a week or I do a photo shoot once a week just to get my creative juices flowing. And I felt like I really needed that too because I'm head of brand for Barcode.
Right.
I need to be creative. But I feel like because I'm your girlfriend, I'm trying to make sure that you feel supported. And we're such a small team. So I'm like, I want to make sure you feel supported in every way, like making sure you're eating, you have food, you're going to your meetings. Like, does your car like have gas? Because like New Yorkers, I feel like, first of all, suck at driving. And then
whoa.
Is he a New Yorker?
Take it easy over there.
No, but like seriously.
I said the actual opposite today that Californians don't know how to drive.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm I'm a way better driver. Like
He's a New Yorker?
smooth with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like 20 miles per hour. I'm like, bro, we're never going to get there.
Where in New York is he from?
Like, I guess he lived in Manhattan.
Oh, that doesn't count. You don't even did he have a car in Manhattan?
Yeah.
You don't really drive though. You just like go
Well, he
from
did to go to the facility.
inch to inch, I guess.
So he would have to like,
okay.
I guess, I don't know. No, I haven't lived there. So, but anyway, so I just put myself on the back burner and then it really took like a toll on my mental health which really took a toll on our relationship when we started dating because I'm like, I feel like I'm not taking care of myself. Like I'm not even able to go to the gym in the morning because I'm like so concerned about you and getting to the office and like making sure.
Now, this was prior to being pregnant?
Yeah, this was prior to being pregnant.
Did that impact the work? Because obviously you worked for the company.
Being pregnant?
No. The fact that you guys had this
thing going on.
Yeah, and that you had this mental health of being like, hey, like I just want to connect with you more.
I just need to do something.
You had to still work for the company.
Yeah, no, it was like so hard. So at first, like I was never meant to like work full time for the company. Like this just happened literally just organically because as an influencer, I was like, wow, this brand's really freaking cool. Mm-hmm. And as someone that cared so much about what she looked like because I'm on camera and I want to look amazing and have great skin and be in great shape, I was like very strict about what I ate, what I put in my body. Like I didn't do processed sugars. Like I only ate veggies, I had green juice every day, like no caffeine. Like people call me like neurotic. Like I was very like, I didn't budge.
Okay.
But like for me in my brain, like it's just, I'll do whatever it takes to get the job. Mm-hmm. And I did every time. I'm like, whatever it takes, I'll never miss a workout.
Have you ever killed anyone?
No.
Okay. Just checking. I gotta ask.
That would be.
That's the only.
I gotta ask.
No, I
okay.
wouldn't do that. That would be, I couldn't do
But yeah,
it.
you're focused on your shit. And
I'm so focused. I'm like, I want it so bad. And no one's going to tell me no. If I can walk into a room and know that like in a bikini and know that, okay, I worked out every time, didn't have any fast food, I'm cool with not getting it. But like that never happened because I was so confident. It would happen. It would work. And I was just like, yes. I'm like,
well, you did everything you can to put yourself in the best position. And I think that's what most successful people do, right? It's like, if I don't get it, I did everything I can to get it. So it's not my fault if I don't get it because I worked my ass off.
Right. I could like literally be like, we wanted a blonde instead. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not mad at that. Because I just know I was the best brunette in there anyway. But if you want a blonde, sure. Like I literally like no attachment. Like I was so fine with it. But it like, it's funny how it works. Like when you feel that way, you end up getting the jobs. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I was just like, okay, Barcode's really freaking cool. Like what can I do to be involved? Like I wanted to be involved from an influencer perspective because I was like, this is cool. And I really like it. Like how can I want to share it with people? People are going to like respond to me because they know how I feel about my body and what I'm putting into it and the integrity that I have with the ingredients and brands that I work with. Because by the way, I would never want to sell a brand that I know was like hurting people. It's another thing. I would just feel terrible to have people spend money on a product that I know isn't really helping them.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
also
no-go
important
for
for
me.
success, right?
Yeah.
If you actually believe in your brand, it's got a way bigger chance of succeeding because you actually believe in it to the full extent.
And you can tell when someone's like, oh my God, I really love this. I use it every day.
And you want to be able to sleep at night, look yourself in the mirror and feel
like
good about it.
Integrity, yeah. Like I'm like, I want to find, like for me, it's like people think that, oh, if I eat healthy, like I'm sacrificing something or I'm not really living life because I can't eat pasta and do all these things. I'm like, no, like here are these amazing alternatives that still taste really good and you're not missing out on life and you're living a better quality life.
100%.
Like that's where I'm coming from when I share Barcode. So I just was like creating UGC ads for him and they were like really converting, and I was handwriting notes for like the launch parties and their PR boxes. And then we just became really close because he appreciated what I was doing. You know, it's like, when, you know, we go starting a business, anyone that supports you, you're just like, oh man, like, thank you. Like, I appreciate it. So we became like really close friends. Like I said, we were both dating other people, like doing our own thing on the side. We never even talked about our dating lives. It's like none of our business is how we felt. And we're just here to like see Barcode succeed. And then I'd say like almost a year into it, I finally like broke things off with someone that I was dating for so long because they told me literally like, this is never going to go any further than what it is.
Wow.
Why?
Which was because they just didn't want anything serious and they didn't want any more kids. And I'm like, I want kids. So
Okay.
I like appreciated the honesty.
Okay.
So that obviously kind of was what caused it to break, to stop, right? That's what brought it on to. But like, did you have that conversation like earlier on?
Of course.
And you were hoping that he would
And
like,
he told you opposite earlier on.
No, he didn't. But he would give me like, I guess they call it breadcrumbs.
A little nugget.
Like a little enough to like keep me around and have his benefits.
Okay.
But like he knew the entire time that like I'm never gonna like marry this girl.
wow.
But she's a great girl. And we have fun together. So like why not keep her around selfishly?
Yeah.
So finally, I would think one day I like was like, just tell me. If it's not, like you're gonna have to be honest with me. And he was. And it hurt so bad for 2 days. And then I get a phone call and he could tell that I was really upset and I was crying. And so I just kind of told him because he didn't know that I was dating anyone. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, I know how amazing you are. He's like, you know, it sucks that you feel this way, but like everything will work out. And we had an event for Barcode. We had a launch party for our third flavor, like in 2 days. And I showed up and I was happy. And I just put everything I was going through aside. And that's when we like, you know, I was like, you know what? Like if he's going to treat me right and he's been such a good person so far, he has never asked me for anything, never been pushy, never like, you know, gave me a job because he thought that maybe if he gave me a job, like we could date, or it was never anything sneaky like that.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of trust. And then we kind of like started, you know, like slowly flirting and like going on a date, a dinner.
Were there any hints?
Did you know it was a date? Yeah. This time around?
Yeah.
Like 2 years in, you're like, are we dating?
I mean,
You thought this was a date?
yeah.
Sorry. What were
Wait.
you going to say?
Were there any hints prior to that? Like, oh, I think he's attractive, or
Yeah,
he's such
I
a
know.
sweet guy?
I always thought he was like super attractive, but I thought the opportunity to build something
Yeah.
was greater because I'm thinking, all right, after the pandemic, I'm like, I need to really do something else to secure myself. So I'm thinking like, why don't I help build a brand, get some equity in a company that I really believe in? And Barcode came along and I was like, oh my God, this is like such a great chance for me to actually learn, because I have a bunch of product ideas that I want to do too. So I'm like, I could really learn something. It's a good integrity brand. I like it. I drink it.
Yeah.
So that opportunity for business, I was like, we're not crossing that line.
Yeah, and for reference, he is, from what I know, I don't know him extremely well,
Yeah.
the most genuine guy.
Very.
Literally every time I see him, can't be a sweeter guy. So
Yeah. No,
that's
he
my
is.
experience with him. Yeah.
Like, and everyone says the same thing. And people were like, you guys should just date. And we're like, I'm like, no, guys, like it's too good working for Barcode. Like I love it so much. I don't want to F that up. But then when that happened and I was like, you know what, I deserve to be happy. Let me just be open to things. And then I was open to it. And then just as the months went along, we just got closer and more involved. And we were just dating. We both weren't dating anyone else, but we both didn't want to like tell each other that. It's kind of weird. I know.
I'm sure on his side of it too, it can be a little stressful, right? Because he has the brand before you was. That's it.
That's number one.
So going down these murky waters with someone who works for the brand, it can be stressful. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, and it's also it's not a good look. You don't want people thinking that you're just hooking up with the girls that are working for the brand, even though he's literally has never, except me now, and obviously it's like super serious because we're pregnant, but it's not a good look. I mean, for me as like a businesswoman, I'm not dating people.
Yeah,
I'm working
it's
with.
also interesting how cool it is the way you handle it, right? And the way you view it now, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard, right? Like I had to start speaking up for myself and saying like, hey, like you can't be mad at me if I want to go to a dance class, you know, like from like 4 to 5, or like, hey, like when we're together, like just put your phone down for an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it tough? Because you both are super driven, right? But is it tough at times to like work together full time? Like now that you're more involved, and do you have to have like real boundaries in terms of like?
Yeah, we have to be intentional. Like we have to go on a date night once a week. Like we have to, or else it just becomes like one big day because it's the same thing literally every day.
Yeah.
Barcode. And it can just go into the night and then you wake up thinking about Barcode. So I'm like, we have to have date night and we have to have time where like we're not looking at our phones. So those are like the 2 non-negotiables for me. And
is you receptive to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes he'll like, I'm sorry, I just got to send this one last text. I'm like, fine, but like you have to put the phone down.
You two can't sound more identical than me and Hannah.
Really?
So last night we had our date night because she was like, listen, so she's in Australia right now, so it's long distance.
That's tough.
Yeah. So she's like, listen, we need to have a date night and just be on the phone, be present with each other. Don't text anybody. I was like, okay. We had a great date night last night.
Did you guys do a little mukbang, like both grab dinner?
We get in a little private areas.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
do our little thing.
Yeah.
But this
Do you know
morning,
what a mukbang is?
No, I don't. What's mukbang?
Oh.
I think he's thinking
You
it's
think
something
it's like,
sexual.
oh no, it's not sexual.
What's a mukbang?
No, it's like when someone.
It sounds very sexual.
No,
obviously.
no. I don't know. It's when you have like food and then you just talk to the camera.
Oh,
Literally.
It's like just eating a lot of food on camera and talking to your audience, basically.
Okay.
But nobody responds back. So I was just like, did you guys both grab dinner? Like you had your food.
No, we
and she
didn't do
had
that.
food? Okay.
We just actually were just like, I'm gonna pay attention to her.
Okay.
For a full hour.
What was the time?
It was 10 o'clock here, so it was like 5 o'clock there. So
PM?
PM, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it was like,
next day.
okay.
it was okay.
Okay.
We had a great hour, right? And she needed it because I'm all over the place. This morning, she gets up for a modeling job in Australia, and I don't even say good morning. I'm like, hey, were you able to like take? Were you able to like take photos in the merch? And
Oh my God.
That's not gonna go over well.
Yeah.
yeah, and I could just tell on her face, she's like, you didn't even fucking say good morning. You're just asking about all this first rounds on me stuff. And I was like, oh shit, I feel bad. So
You know what's funny? I used to have a boss that he would text me and say good morning, and then just hit me with like 50 things. I would hate the fact that he would say good morning, but just fucking hit me with the 50 things.
just go.
Just don't pretend to be nice. Just
But you guys
fucking
weren't
hit me with it.
dating.
No,
so
we
it's
weren't
different.
dating.
Yeah.
We weren't dating. But yeah, I could see why Hannah would be upset with that. But
yeah, so we're literally identical to the two of you.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Wait, so how long is she in Australia for?
So she wasn't able to go back the whole pandemic. And she's actually has a very similar story to you. Prior to the pandemic, she was a Wilhelmina model, doing great. Pandemic happens. She's not a U.S. citizen, so she doesn't get any help from the government.
Yep. I don't either, by the way.
Goes through all of her savings, right? Because you can't model during the pandemic.
Right.
And then she couldn't go back to Australia because it was closed. So she's been back since the end of September, and then she'll come back after Christmas. So she's like getting a little fix in.
Yeah.
But yeah, then she'll be back.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she definitely deserves little messages.
I feel like she's gonna watch
like,
this and be like, I fucking love
Dang.
Michelle. She knows how I am.
No, yeah, I think it's important to hear about, because you guys, like we said, we're both successful entrepreneur mindset, and you work together, which adds another element. Like you're not even just doing your own thing; you're actually working together. So I think it could be very helpful for people and couples to hear this stuff, because how important communication is and intention and doing everything to like really make the relationship work. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've just learned to be really direct in all areas, because if you don't, like, you're going to be the ones to suffer. Like, your peace is at stake.
Yeah.
And I say that just like, even like me wanting to act and model when I was younger was because like, I felt like people would, I was like a kid and people would pick on me and like, same story that I'm sure a lot of people go through. So I'm not into something special, but it's important to stick up for yourself and say what you want. Just like with the relationship that ended, I'm like, yo, this is what I'm looking for. If you don't want that, that's cool, but someone else will. So let me know so I can move forward with my life. And same with our relationship. I'm like, this is what I need. Like, I need date night and I need quality time.
And you guys aren't asking for much.
No. It's so like just appreciation.
Yeah.
Like appreciation goes such a long way. And even with business though, like I used to think like, oh, like, like be nice. And like, no, I'm like, this is exactly what I need. And if I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it, but it can be perceived like
So it's funny you say that, because so Steve and I have been friends for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And we obviously started working together, right? So it also happens with friends, not just relationships.
Right.
And there's been times when, we've never gotten into a fight before. And there was a time in the app where, not that I was like acting like his boss, but I was really pissed about something, right? And we got into a fight, and it was just like, just tough, right? Like kind of communicating, but doing it in the right way with people you care about. Mm-hmm. And it was a big growing process for me, because I came at him in a way that I didn't like, but I did it because, we were doing something together. It was a lot of tension, and it's just tough to like be in the trenches with people you care about.
It's hard because you also want to take their feelings into consideration.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between brutal honesty and honesty, right? And thinking about how you're going to say something, and you don't have to sugarcoat it, but you should be thoughtful about how you say it.
Yeah,
definitely. And that's same thing: relationships, business relationships, friendships, anything, anybody.
Yeah, I agree.
So now, let's get to the other side of this. Being pregnant, is it like Knocked Up? Like, I know that's the only movie I have to reference it, when she goes through all these struggles.
I don't remember the movie too well. I just know it was funny and it was like great. Stuff. I guess I've just been so lucky. Month 2 and 3 were pretty difficult. Yeah. Like at the launch party, like at night, I would just get like really nauseous and like I just want to go home and lay down. But I was able to pull through. Okay. Then like I hit month 3 for like 6 weeks. I could barely get out of bed, but I never threw up. And that was like my only symptom, was the nausea. It was so intense. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Is this ever going to end? And sure enough, I hit month 4 and it was like gone literally that day.
And now you're just crushing dog pound workouts.
And now I'm back to working out. I don't have any pain. Baby's healthy. I mean, I've gained like 8 pounds already.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the scale number looks like a lot. I'm not going to lie. I saw the scale number at the doctor's office and I was like, oh shit, that looks like a lot of weight. But it's really only like an extra 8 pounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far it's been great.
And how much longer do you have left?
15 weeks, 16 weeks.
Are you nervous or excited to get it over with?
I feel like I literally have wanted a baby for so long, and I watched so many YouTube videos. I'm not even kidding you. I watched every mom, first mom, products, what they wish they knew before they had a baby, how they take care of the baby, multiple babies, all the best like I've watched so many of those that I almost feel like.
Are you going to be a mommy vlogger? Is that the next phase?
I don't know if it's mommy like specific, but more of like how mommy has impacted my life, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's not going to be just mommy and baby. It's going to be like, this is Michelle, and now I'm adding being a mom to who I am. Like, I'm still someone that loves to work out. I still help out with Barcode. I'm still like, I want to do mommy and baby jobs for sure. Like,
I was gonna say, are you gonna keep pursuing the acting and the modeling?
Yes, I want those memories with the baby.
Nice.
And then how being a mommy now is impacting all these areas. But I don't know. I might not want the baby all over Instagram and
I was thinking about that, right? Like what I would want.
Yeah.
Would I want to show people like, oh, this is so cool, but also
I thought I did. I really did. I was like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to show my baby every day, like show all the things we're doing. And then now I'm just like, I will, like, I'll share the baby and say like, oh my God, like, today this is what we did. It was so cool, but it needs to have intention behind it. Like, it is so annoying when people just do things and, it's to just show off. And it's different when it's like, hey, like, look at this really cool thing that I think you guys might enjoy too. And you should try.
I think you could tell.
You can. And that's why it's so cringy sometimes. I'm like, oh, I cannot watch this girl's story anymore because she's just, I'm the best mom. Like, look at me being a mom. And I'm just like.
Yeah, I've started unfollowing people that are friends of mine, but it's like every post is about your baby. I don't want to follow your baby.
Yeah.
Like, we're friends.
Right.
Wish your baby the best, but goodbye.
I've heard that. I've heard that, like, people, like, I don't care about the kid.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I don't give a shit if your kid's eating something. Yeah, like just.
But if they were like, hey, like, the baby really liked, I don't know, we're going to try broccoli for the first time. And I don't know, if there was like something educational behind it, you'd be like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, or if the baby is a prodigy and playing the piano at 3 months.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. And when you guys go to the Baby Gap commercial, I'm in. Yeah.
That would be,
I think that's
that would be
job.
like legend.
Yeah.
If I got a Gap Kids commercial and then my kid did.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you create content, so you could create really good content.
Yeah.
Like, for me, being like a layman Instagram person, if I see funny content, no matter what it is, I'm like, that was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, but if it's like you really tried really hard to make your baby go viral, it's like you're a loser.
I know. It's so cringy.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't want I don't want to use my baby in that way either.
And I was gonna say, can you imagine the process of like the mother putting this whatever she's doing together to be like, I hope this goes viral, reshooting it 10 times,
and getting
mad at the baby's not being funny.
Yeah. Like, don't stop doing it. Yeah, no, I don't want to be that. Like, if I catch a funny moment and I share it and it does go viral, cool. But like, my intention is never to use my baby to go viral. No.
Right.
Even now.
How many do you think you're gonna want to have?
I want 3.
Same.
Yeah. He wants 2. So
who am I to say? It's you guys are the ones that do it.
Wait, so how does Hannah, right? How many does she want?
I don't know if she wants 2, but I was like, come on, 3. She's like,
2.5 fine. Is still the average. So you guys are good either way.
I think we'll do 3, but it depends,
Yeah.
We'll
so are you ready for that step or?
I don't know. I mean, seeing the stresses that I'm in now, having a startup, I mean, maybe I'll just learn from you guys. What do I do and what don't I do? Because she wants it now.
Oh, she does?
Oh, yeah. She's asking away.
She's ready.
Yeah. But I want to have a little more stabilization.
I mean, I feel like you're going to keep saying that, though, every time. Like, like he said the same thing. Like, he's like, don't announce it until we do this. And I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, like, let's compromise. And then he's like, okay, well, wait till. I'm like, listen, if that doesn't happen till February, I'm already 8 months. Like, you're not going to take away the joy of me bringing. Yeah,
you guys just have to wait.
No, I'm just like, no.
Done.
So when did you announce
coming
it?
out? December 1st.
December 1st.
Which is like literally when I turned 6 months.
And who was the first person that knew?
Besides him?
Yeah.
Well, I told my friends.
Okay.
They were actually the first, like Liberty and Megan were like literally the first people that I told.
Nice.
Then my parents.
Now, your parents are still in San Fran?
Yeah.
And his are in New York?
His are in Philly. That's where he's from.
Okay.
But unfortunately, his mom passed away. So.
Okay, sorry.
But we did get pregnant literally like 2 weeks after she passed. So it was kind of like.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I almost feel like it was a blessing from her.
Mm.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys gonna stay in LA?
Yeah, but I definitely want like the baby to be well traveled. Like he loves New York, so we'll spend time in New York, and I love Europe, so if we can get there, and I just want the baby to be really well cultured. I just feel like that's such an advantage.
Yeah.
and learn as many languages as possible. Sorry, we're like boring Steve with baby.
No, it's good.
With baby talk.
This isn't about me. This is about you. Yeah. So, anything that you're working on that any big plans for 2023 or big projects coming up, or what's exciting to you right now, other than the baby and everything we just talked about?
Yeah, he's like, I'm over the baby.
No, I'm not. I love the baby. I think I have a shot to be godfather. I think based on this conversation.
Yeah.
So,
I think for 2023, the thing that I really want to do is make sure Barcode 1 is set up, because I'll probably have to be like on maternity leave for a while. So anything I can help get content ready wise and blow it up for 2023, because we're in 500 more new stores across the nation, which is
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's like we're so excited that more people have access to just healthy options.
Yep.
But also I want to have like a ton of baby and me like commercial bookings. You just literally put Gap in my head. So I just want to get like some kind of Gap campaign, because I feel like that would be full circle and that'd be the coolest thing. And then literally that's my main focus is mommy in 2020.
Yeah, and I have one more question for you before we leave you, because you've been very insightful. What advice can you give couples or people going through serious stuff in relationships and, growing together with big milestones?
Yeah, I think don't be afraid to speak your mind about what your needs are. Because I know sometimes like I used to get scared to speak my mind, and that doesn't have to be romantic. It could be business relationship, friendship, like in any relationship, just be nice about it. But like, don't be afraid to ask for what you want, because if that thing is not for you, you're just holding back your blessings by staying in something that's not for you. So the quicker you know if this is a go, then you can move accordingly and you can stop wasting time. So I just feel like wasting time is the biggest, for me, my biggest pet peeve. Like, don't waste my time, because time is literally all we have.
I think you have motivational speaker in your background as well.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm like, I need to get my life together before I go out there trying to tell people what to do with theirs.
I think everyone that is driven and somewhat successful feels like their shit's never together, because there's so many things you can worry about and focus on, and you always want to get better. Yeah. So I think everyone's like, I got to do this. And
no, there's like, I feel like I haven't even reached half my potential. And I was like thinking about that before I came in here and talked to you guys. I'm like, there's so much more I need to do.
I do think that the 9-year-old with braces would be very proud of who you've become.
100%.
Thanks,
and I think that mentality is what great people have, right? Just
yeah.
always seeing there's more inside of them. And I think that's
that also the biggest piece of advice I can give anyone is not to take things personally, and that emotions are not facts, because our emotions are based off our past experiences, but that doesn't mean that experience is happening in the current time. So if we just take a step back and say like, all right, this is a part of life. Heartbreak's a part of life. Setbacks are a part of life. It's not like the world is against me. It's actually working for me some way. And that this will be used to like leverage me into a new direction or take me to a new level. Then we can like let go of that blockage. And I swear like things happen so much. Like I let go of that old relationship and literally got pregnant like 6 months later. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I always say there's 2 ways you could look at every single solitary situation, and you create your own narrative. So
just don't take it personally, because I used to think that when I was younger, like, oh my God, like why are you, like, I got in a really bad car accident at 17 and I was like, I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe this happened to me. Like, this is the most terrible thing in the world. And then I'm still like, that didn't need to happen, and I could have avoided it if I wasn't out that late and listened to my mom. But it also like put me, like, I'm so disciplined, and people will say it's like, oh, you're just neurotic or you're crazy, but I'm like, no, to me it's like I will do whatever it takes to get my goal, whatever it takes. And you're just not, and most of the world isn't. Everyone's okay with being mediocre. Everyone dresses the same because like, oh, it's safe. Like everyone plays it safe. So I'm not going to be a mediocre Michelle. It's not about competing with other people. It's about, I just know like the levels. Like, how do you know you wanted to act? I'm like, I just knew, like, anytime I got in front of the camera, like the fire, like that light inside of us that we all have, like
Yeah.
it was just like shining so bright, and other people would try to like kill the flame, but the flame was always there.
But isn't it funny how you care about those people who try and kill the flame when you're younger, and then as you get
Yep.
older, you don't give a shit about them at all.
Oh my God.
And
you're just,
they feel the flame more.
yes.
Like they feel my flame.
Yes, because then you're like, why am I going to listen to someone that's on the sidelines?
100%.
Like,
Facts.
you're not modeling. So why do you care if I'm modeling?
100%.
Like, you're literally sitting at home, and I feel bad because there are people that are not following their passions, and they have a gift too. They're just, for what, their life experiences have put them in that place.
Yeah,
but.
we had a friend told me that an old childhood friend asked how I was doing in LA, and they were like, yeah, what's he doing out there? I just wonder if he's like happy. He seems so lost. And in my head, I was thinking, what the hell? That's what you see of me. You're at home, and all you care about is if the Jets win on Sunday. Like, that's all you care about.
Yeah. Like,
know?
you're like, I have a gift to share, and I'm like
Yeah.
willing to share it. But then, like, you feel bad for those people. 'Cause you're
I
like,
do.
Oh,
I do
like,
feel bad for
you
them.
have a gift too. Like,
Because everyone has a gift. It's just,
yes.
can it come out of you? And can
Yes.
people around you help bring it out of you? And if you're not surrounded by the right people, it's sad. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally like what we believe at like Barcodes. Like, everyone has a code, literally. Like, no one can replicate it, and you have like a gift that needs to be shared. Like, we need it. Like, whatever your gift is, like, we need it. And
Exactly.
Barcode just wants to like help you feel confident enough to like share it with us, because you're gonna make the world a better place if you do.
Love these words.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because like I know like if I eat bad food,
Yeah.
I feel like shit, and I don't want to do anything productive. I just want to sit around, and it's just like this cycle. And if I eat good food, I want to go to the gym, and then when I go to the
Yep.
gym, I want to eat good food, and I get better
And you're
sleep.
happy.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
like what you're saying is like people who, I think there's people out there who are like just trolls or just unhappy. And again, maybe it's not their fault, but they're probably fueling themselves with shitty food, and it just the gut brain connection, and they just feel like shit all the time, and they're just down, and they have all these energy spikes. So I think Barcode, like, it honestly sounds like, I know you said it's true to who you are, but you can see it. Like, it's all about like a total, like a holistic, like, achieving more and having a better life, a more fulfilling life. So
yeah.
it's obvious. Yeah.
Thanks.
You guys have a good team over there.
Thanks.
Yeah. So as we'll wrap up, do you want to plug like where people can find you and find Barcode?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me probably the easiest places on Instagram, Shell_Hayden. And Barcode is on Amazon now. So that's the easy. I always say Amazon because it's like prime shipping. Like, who doesn't love prime shipping? Or Arrow One will be at Wegmans soon in Utah. We just got some stores in Jersey, New York. We're all over Central Market in Texas. So we're expanding, but probably Amazon is the easiest for everybody.
And what's the Barcode Instagram?
Barcode is Drink Barcode.
Drink Barcode.
Yeah, that's literally it. Drink
Love it.
Barcode.
Well, yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
guys.
Appreciate you, and drink Barcode.
Yes, thank you guys
Thank
for
you,
having
Michelle.
me.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.